Okay, once again, his name is Tinberger, and this is his graduation speech. So, almost everyone has heard about a guy who nearly blew up the entire building and accidentally set his classmate on fire and did research on mozzarella qualities. Um, so he would like to congratulate everyone on this special day when they all graduate from the University of California and set off into a great unknown. Actually, his future is not so unknown because as he was coming to this graduation ceremony with his parents and his brother and sister, he was approached by someone who offered him to do a summer internship in one of the world's largest chemical companies. So he will get a chance to get some experience before he starts his PhD program in the fall. And this program is the next step for him on his way to become a real scientist. And if he succeeds in his career, a big part of this success would be thanks to this university, the professors, and all the amazing people he has met over these past few years. When he was asked to give this graduation speech, he was quite surprised because he has never been good at public speaking, and he has never been a straight A student either. And he missed a lot of classes, especially during his freshman year, and he couldn't get used to the college setting and the workload he was facing. So there were a lot of social events on campus and lots of parties to go to. He slacked off in some courses and mm, fell behind. He really struggled to catch up with his studies, so he had to stop partying for a while and took some private classes instead, and eventually it helped. He managed to keep up with his coursework. But last year he was on the edge of being expelled from the university because he made a tiny mistake in calculations, and his lab experiment didn't go too well. The explosion left a huge hole in the wall and made him lose his eyebrows. Luckily, they grew back. He was told off by the department supervisor for being a troublemaker, and he was severely criticized for putting the other students' lives in danger in a newspaper piece about this accident. And he after that he lost his interest to any experiments, and but not for too long though. In fact, he has never been much of a learner. He is more of a practical guy. He likes to make experiments and see how stuff works. But the last experiment almost got him kicked out of the university because he set a fire and ruined the lab. After that incident, he had to take a special course on safety principles on lab environment. Taking exams and tests wasn't an enjoyable part of his learning process, and however, he somehow managed to pass all the exams without too much effort. So he never had enough time for getting ready for the exams, because while all the other students buried themselves in books, he worked part-time as a lab technician, and also he signed up for a theater class and spent numerous hours on rehearsals. And once he had an exam scheduled on the next day, but his theater group had to rehearse for a play, and they stayed on the rehearsal till late. So he slept just a couple of hours, and everything got mixed in his head. And during the exam he started reciting a Shakespeare sonnet. Luckily the professor turned out to be a theater enthusiast, and they ended up discussing dramas. So in fact, he can't help thinking that a few professors gave him higher grades than he deserved, and he can't believe he has never failed a single exam. So his academic performance clearly hasn't been perfect, and that is why he was so surprised when he was asked to give this graduation speech. The university made him feel welcome, and when you know that you belong to a community, it makes you feel touched, because his teenage years were very different. He attended several elementary, middle, and high schools because his family moved from state to state, and he never felt at home anywhere. When he started school, he was an awkward kid, and he was often bullied because he was short and wore glasses. He was good at maths and science, and he did well at school and got over average grades. So it was automatically considered a nerd. Sometimes he skipped school just to stay at home and read a book about science, and he was always thinking that he would always be a weird person with no friends. So that is why he couldn't wait to move on to the next stage of his education and get a place at the university. So he finished school with honors and with no regrets. When he got a place at the University of California, he was so excited. His parents weren't able to pay tuition fees in full, so he applied for a scholarship and got a grant from the government fund supporting talented applicants. And at first he was enrolled at the Department of Physics, but then he realized that chemistry was his real passion, so he dropped out of the physics and dropped in on a chemistry class. And looking back, he thinks that it was the best decision he has ever made. Now he has defended his thesis and got his master's degree, and he is proud to be one of today's graduates. He says that all these years will have a special place in his heart, and he is extremely proud to give this graduation speech. So stick to your goals, don't be afraid to experiment, work hard and make your own choices.